Get rid of this. This is very sad. Mental health and mental health awareness is such a theme of the show because of my mother is a schizophrenic, and I always want to make sure that people that are having mental problems reach out before something horrible happens, before they do something to themselves or others. We do not have a lot of adequate mental health care in this country. Now, that being said, it's sad when people they feel that they're at the end of their rope and they don't have anyone to reach out to. They feel like that, do something drastic like commit suicide. This is very sad, and this happens far too often. It's horribly tragic always, but it's especially tragic when they're somewhat like accomplished, when they're, let's say, a writer and they've written a book. That's sad because they wrote a book and had a family and had no prior mental health concerns at all. They'd never voiced at all that they were suicidal, and they were on TV several weeks before they killed themselves. That's how insidious mental health is. That's how insidious mental health is, that it can just out of nowhere, with no warning or no indication, when you seem absolutely fine to everyone around you, you can just kill yourself out of the blue. And this man wrote a book about Bill and Hillary Clinton. And this is sad because many of the people that these two are connected to have mental problems and end up taking their own lives. This is very, very sad. And get this up, because this guy, he wrote a book about when Bill Clinton confronted Loretta Lynch on the tarmac about the investigation into Hillary's emails. And Lynch was the attorney general. And there was a TV anchor, I believe. And this person, police in Alabama said this weekend they are investigating the death of the television news reporter who broke a story in 2016 about a secret tarmac meeting between former President Clinton and former Attorney General Loretta Lynch as a suicide. Lieutenant Keith, whatever, I don't know how to pronounce that, with the Hoover Police Department. They love investigating this, by the way. They're in hog heaven down there. They're saying Sign's death is being investigated as a suicide. Our deepest sympathy is shared with Chris's loving family and close friends, said Sinclair Broadcast Group. While in Phoenix, Sign broke the story about a tarmac meeting between Lynch and Clinton, which came as former President Obama's Justice Department was investigating the former Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, then running for president, over the use of her private email server for official government business. When I broke the story, we knew that something had occurred here that was a bit unusual, Sign said of the meeting during an appearance on Fox News that year. It was a planned meeting. It was not a coincidence. This details everything they don't want you to know and everything they think you forgot. Now, I thought he wrote a book about that. Did he not write a book?
I believe he did. Let me see.
This will be another example, by the way, of Tim Dillon being right-wing. He's a right-wing psychopath. He's pointing out something that's weird. You know, the heroes of the progressive movement, Bill and Hillary Clinton. Christopher Sign, Birmingham TV anchor and former Alabama football player, died in apparent suicide.
I believe he did write. Maybe it wasn't a book.
Didn't he write a book? Isn't there something on? Didn't he say he got a lot of threats when that happened?
Let's see here. Yeah, Secret on the Tarmac. Here we go. On Amazon right now.
Yeah, he wrote this book, Secret on the Tarmac. It's amazing that he was able to get a book done while suffering from a debilitating mental illness, some serious depression. Inside the clandestine tarmac meeting of Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch, the story of how journalism, a secret informant, and Alabama football impacted a presidential election. Yeah, well, sadly, Sign unfortunately left. He exited stage right.
Stage right.
Stage left, whatever.
About a year after publishing, about a year and a half.
How did he kill himself?
Let's see.
How did he do it? I'm not saying that people don't kill themselves, by the way. That's not I just think around, I don't know, 200 people killing themselves that involve a family. It starts to look suspicious. I believe it begins to look a little odd. We were talking about this in the backyard with Ben, and we were saying that, people like, the Bush family and the Clinton family are, how shall we say it? How do you say it? They like power, and they're not huge fans of people that wrong them. And a lot of the people that have wronged those families end up in trouble. Coroner releases new details about alleged suicide of Clinton Tarmac reporter Christopher Sine. Okay, what are they saying?
He's dead in the morning.
He's found dead by family members. Cause of death is yet to be released.
But they believe it was a suicide, so the coroner's still looking through it.
It might be that he took the wrong medication. I don't know. I'm not saying that anything happened here. I'm just saying it's curious. It's a curious thing. Get him up talking about the threats he received. I believe, whether it was on Fox or he was talking about the threats he received when he broke the story. I'm not suicidal, by the way. I know that makes me a minority in this country at this moment, where everybody is just on the brink. But supposedly he, in a television interview I watched, seemed pretty together, and he was saying that he had received some threats. And there you go.
Right here.
There you go.
You've paid the price for this career-wise. What kind of threats or what have you received?
Well, my family received significant death threats shortly after breaking this story. Credit cards hacked.
He's mentally ill.
My
Do you
children,
see it?
we have code words. We have secret code words that they know what to do. And that's why I came back to WBMA, ABC 3340 in Birmingham, because when I was enduring the death threats, it was my former Alabama football family and my teammates, my coaches who circled around me.
Wow. Oh, my. Read all about it. You can get the book right now, Secret on the Tarmac. It's at Christopher Sine, SIGN.com.
Like, yeah,
And on Amazon as well.
All right.
Sure. Anyway. Get the book where you can, folks. He's like, yeah, my family received significant death threats. You're like, oh. Anyway, the book's out right now. Grab the book if you can, folks. Grab the book if you can. Man, it's just it could be a coincidence. I don't know much about what happened. I'm just saying, maybe he was bit by a brown recluse. Is that possible? That this guy was bit by a nest of brown recluses? They're in Alabama, I think. Is there a coroner's report on this guy?
Yeah, but it's undetermined still.
They don't know.
Trying to find like the latest thing on it.
Cause of death is probably related to suicide.
It's just
maybe he did struggle with mental health. I don't know. I mean, that seems to not be the case.
still just being investigated.
You know, if somebody broke a story that I felt impacted my chances for the presidency, I would maybe kill them a year and a half later when people had forgotten about it. I'd put them on the list. Would you not put them on the list? Right? You put them on the list. Do you think the hitmen that work for them are like all the time? They're like again? But they're good. Like if you're a hitman, do you want them as your clients?
Yeah.
That's what they call repeat business. That's the Rolodex you want because they have problems with everybody.
Yeah.
The Bushes would do a lot of shady shit too, but they just whacked JFK. Or H. Dubs was clearly suspiciously. Well, he forgot where Kennedy was. He forgot where he was when Kennedy. Where were you when you heard about 9/11?
Second grade.
Yes.
In class. I remember.
I was in 11th grade history class.
Mm.
But when they asked Bush that, he went, where were you when JFK was killed? He goes, it's a Japanese interview. He goes, yeah, I don't know. Come to think of it, you know where he was?
Where?
Dallas. It's odd. It's interesting. He was in Tyler. It's
Tyler,
very close.
right. Yeah.
But it's very interesting that he forgot. Like, he forgot and he was like in the state.
Mm.
You know, he wasn't in Fiji. But again, none of this is important. None of this is truly important. What's important is that people continue to argue about whether Fauci, can you believe that he lied about the masks? That's what's important. Don't get lost in any of this stuff. The real things that matter are, did Fauci lie about needing masks early on?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the key to it all. That will unlock the secret.
Mm-hmm.
That explains everything. It's not this. Don't get off track here. Don't get off track. What matters is the inheritance tax. When you inherit an estate, how much should you pay for it? What percentage of the estate should you pay? I'm not saying that's unimportant, but that's what we should be focusing on. Not whether the country is run by murderers who kill their enemies in public. Like, this is, no one's even trying to hide anymore the killing. They used to go to great lengths to hide the murder. Now they just go like this and go, yeah. I mean, it's, you know, so that's why when people get into politics with me, I have to, like, you know, just kind of like, I just under the table, I'm just like, all right. I get bored. Did Fauci lie about the map? I don't know. That's important, isn't it? Killing people in front of you, dummy. But it's not. They passed a new law in Texas that says you can carry a gun. And do you know what that means? Oh, you tell me. Tell me what it means. You tell me what it means. You've clearly done the research. But R.I.P. to Christopher Sign. It's unfortunate. We don't know what happened. We're not even going to speculate. We're just having a little fun. We're just goofing. We're goofing around. We don't have any information about this. Nope. Our audience is not nearly big enough for anyone to care out there. So I bet this guy was sad. And that's what happened. So don't come looking for anything here. This is not a journalism show. We're not breaking any news. This trended on Twitter for 48 hours. I'm not breaking news. Nobody handed me a USB with any information. I don't have a flash drive. I don't know what happened to anybody. It's all a conspiracy. Everything's a conspiracy. Like, everything's good. Everything out there is good. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. It's fine. We've got bigger fish to fry. Much bigger fish to fry than whether the ex-president and his wife are on a killing spree in broad daylight. Or whether the other ex-president's father, participated in a coup. Don't get it twisted. It'd be good now if we had an ad break for like a very mainstream, like I always ask why we don't have more mainstream. But it's a great way to get out of a meaningless political debate is to just bring these things up. Bring these things up and people will move on very quickly. They'll change the topic, by the way. They'll change it. So if they start in about the Fauci and the mask, hit them with some fun. And then they move on. And what have you been up to? Oh, that was easy. Just had to pull that lever.